Welcome back to Level Up with Lori, where I talk a little bit about life, a little bit about business, and every single thing in between, where I share strategy and where I hope to shift your perspective and the way that you show up in the world. Because at the end of the day, what I really truly believe the world needs more of is the magic that every single one of us has inside of us. So sit back, relax, enjoy the episode, and I will see you on the other side. Hey, you guys. Welcome back to Level Up with Lori. I am so incredibly excited that you are here this week. So if you pay attention on social media, if you're in my world right now, you will know that the doors to my Passion to Purpose Accelerator program are officially open. This is my program that helps women in network marketing. And even if you're not in network marketing, I actually work with clients inside this program as well, but build a business all their own. So, I've worked with so many women inside this container, and I've really revamped this program, and I'm launching it this month. We start in September for a full 6 months. We are going to get your brand new business off the ground. It's going to be amazing. It's actually, if you are interested, send me a message. I'll tell you more information about it, or head on over to Lori Irvin Coaching on Instagram. Find more details there. But today I have a little bit of a treat for you. I'm hopping on live with one of the women that was in the first round of the Passion to Purpose program. Andrea has a successful network marketing business. She is a full-time educator, and she is building a business called Educators Finding Balance, where she helps women and probably a few good men in education find balance in their lives. The teaching industry, and for those of you that don't know, I was in the teaching industry. My husband is a teacher, and it is its own unique beast, as Andrea will kind of explain in this call. And so she's just creating this really heart-driven business that from the second I had the conversation with her, and I remember her saying, you just have this tiny idea. I don't know if it could be anything or what it could become, but it feels like this purpose that's inside of me. And exactly why I kind of call this program Passion to Purpose is that it just started with one little tiny idea. And together we took that idea, we expanded upon it, we created content around it, and we ultimately created a program where she can actually make money while helping people in this industry. So for those of you that are not thinking about starting a business, Andrea's actually going to talk about her network marketing business as well. And she told really good nuggets that I think you will like. And plus, you just never know what listening to something like this might spark inside you. So I encourage you to listen. And I also encourage you to reach out if you have any questions about the Passion to Purpose program. Like I said, the doors are open this month. We start in September. We have 6 months together where we are going to take a business idea and turn it into a legitimate business. Something that brings income, something that drives impact, something that will change every element of it's going to be so magical, you guys. I see what's on the other side of the women that I've had the honor to work with, women like Andrea, and I'm going to bring another one on this podcast as well, just because these are women who are doing both. And I understand how overwhelming the thought of adding one more thing in your life can be, but it's kind of more on top of more, and really finding your unique path in this world. And I want you to know that it is possible to do on top of a thriving network marketing business. And it was something I grappled with in the beginning too, when I wanted to start my coaching business, wondering if I actually had the bandwidth to add more. So listen in on this episode. Let me know if you love it. As always, if you like it and you love it, please tag me over on the socials. Please share it with your teams, share it with your circles, at Lori Irvin Coaching on Instagram, Lori Eldridge Irvin on Facebook, inside the Level Up community, all of the places. And I'd love to hear from you if you love this episode as much as I loved recording it. So sit back, relax, enjoy. Hear Andrea tell us all about her vision, how she works her network marketing, and how she's building up something on top of that. All right, I am here with Andrea of Norwex and Educators Finding Balance. And I am really, really excited to chat today because we're going to talk about kind of the mingling of building something all your own on top of a successful network marketing business, which I think, Andrea, if you'll agree with me, like there's a lot on a lot of people's minds, but it also feels really overwhelming, especially you work a full-time job and just have the family and all the things and a life. So I think it'll be really interesting for everybody listening in if they've ever thought about doing something like this, like how the hell you have pulled it off. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi. I'm so excited to be here. This is so cool. I love podcasts. I love listening to your podcast. And now
you're going to get to listen to yourself.
This is so cool. I might not do that though.
I recommend never listening to yourself. That is my hands down rule. I've never listened to my podcast. I listen to trainings only if I feel like I need to reuse them for something.
Okay.
And even then I'm like, it's cringeworthy. Yeah.
I just don't want to know. It's got to be okay, right?
And our voices do not sound the same when we re-listen as they do in our heads.
No, and that's the same reason, is totally aside, but that's the same reason why I go live in my groups. I do not record myself because I don't even, if I record myself, I'll do it 20 times. If I just go live, I just jump in and do it and be
I know.
Right?
I will look for the faults. People are always like, well, maybe I'll practice. I'm like, do not practice. That's horrifying.
No, we are our worst critics, right?
We are. And you know what? There's something to be said for just being human and allowing there to be mistakes and stuff in there too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And people value that, right?
I think so. I think I like humans better than robots.
Part of relationship building.
Exactly. Okay. Tell us a little bit about your network marketing journey to kind of kick things off.
Yeah. So I have actually been part of 4 different direct sales companies.
I did not know that. Tell me about that.
I have. So years ago, my son is 12. So before I had him, I was part of Stampin' Up and I loved every minute. I signed up, and this is one of the biggest things I've learned. I had an incredible upline. I signed up under somebody who is the 4th person to sign up in Canada.
Wow.
She was just a wealth of knowledge, and she helped me a ton and really supported me. And I did it probably about a year and a half, and I loved it. But when I had kids, it wasn't the right thing for me because it was a lot of prep work. So we would do card classes and stuff. It was awesome. But I really learned about how direct sales companies work. And then I started keeping an eye.
I would assume with timing that the majority, that business was all in person.
Yes, it was. Oh yeah. It was all in person. And then we would do card classes and I would go to people's houses and we would make a series of cards that I had prepped. And then they had I had a bunch of ladies who were in card clubs. And then so they would host each month and we go, and it was so much fun. And I remember even bringing my baby when he was little, when he was first born, and they were so excited because they'd been through that whole pregnancy with me. And it was certainly I loved the relationships. I loved, even though these ladies were 40 years older than me, they were,
they probably just loved you so much.
It was so nice. So but that direct sales, doing that business for me was about building my own collection. All of the money I made went back into buying stuff for me. Yeah. So that was the start of my journey. Well, I don't know if it was the start because I am a huge direct sales junkie and I buy from every company because I love them. I think that direct sales is amazing. And the thing I tell everybody who asks me about this, or asks about MLMs or anything, and but look at Norwex in particular, you couldn't just have that on a shelf. Nobody would know how to use it. And same really with Stampin' Up, right? People would not value it the same way as going to a class and learning how to use it. And that's what I think is so amazing with direct sales. We have that education piece, that element, right? We can really teach.
Yeah, that's such a really good way to look at it, because on a shelf, you don't get that connection or that education.
No, not at all, right? So then I went to, because I fell in love with 31. So I joined that, and I gave everybody my discount, and that was fabulous, right? But no, because you can't sell anything if you give everybody a discount.
And then you wonder, why am I not making any money?
Exactly. So everybody just always expected the discount, which was wonderful for me to keep my, like, I couldn't get out.
To keep your status, etc. And
right, exactly. Because every time I was about to like go dormant or whatever it was called, I would just put out a 20% discount and everybody would buy everything. And I was constantly staying in the company. Right?
You were essentially a discount shopper, really.
It was, yes, which I know now completely undervalues the product. And so I do, of course, offer some sales to my very big customers and my VIPs and that. And if I am at a point where I need to reach some sales or something, then yes, a sale is good for that reason, or as a celebration for a milestone or something. But I don't do it on a regular basis because I want to keep the value of the product. So that, and then I also joined another one at Chalk Couture, and it's a newer company, and I just didn't.
They haven't been in Canada for very long, have they?
No, and there's a lot, like they have some room to grow. So I kind of let that go to the wayside, and that was also right after I joined Norwex, and I just fell in love. I also, again, goes back to the upline. I have an incredible upline. Like the levels up, I am part of a Black Jacket leader team. So she's got thousands of people under her. Her mother is the VP of Norwex Canada. Like I am so well supported. That was a big piece to help push me to learn about how the company worked. So that's where things started. I joined shortly after the pandemic because I'm also a teacher, like you were saying. So I'm off in the summers. And I think that first summer after our first shutdown I spent the entire summer worrying about what was going to happen with school. So then at Norwex, I was invited to a party and things just kind of fell into my lap. And I reached out to the girl and was like, hey, I need something in my life. I want all of these things at a discount. So I think I want to join. So I did join, and then it was just such an amazing time to join.
Yes.
Sales.
Norwex was one of those companies that really skyrocketed during the pandemic.
Really? Yeah, everybody wanted to clean their house. They were all sitting at home.
Everybody wanted sterilization.
Exactly. And I also think that people really stepped up and learned how to do online parties. And when I was already learning that from school, how to teach and sell basically and build relationships with parents and students online, I was already in that mode. So it made it very easy to start my business. Now, it didn't start right away. It was months in, and I just had that one party, that one golden party that spiraled into more parties, and it boomed for a while. And I have taken times where I've had to slow it down because it just was too much, but I also built in systems, or I outsourced things to make it more manageable. And yeah, it's really, I think the big thing that I keep holding on to now is this is for life. Norwex is different from the other ones. This will be part of my life. I don't ever expect it to go away. Even if there's dips in my business, it will still always be there. And I've realized that I have control. If I want it to grow, I can make that happen. If I want it to kind of lie low, to put other things as a priority, then that can happen too, right? And it's okay.
Well, and I think for you, like when you say dips and you say lie low, like there's still consistent action happening inside your business, right?
Yes. Yeah. And where I see that the most, even if I haven't posted anything for a couple of weeks, stuff's been crazy busy, something else is going on, or I've just been done, because we've like teachers, any teacher on here will tell you how burnt out we have been this year, right? And you're still in that.
I'm married to
world, one, right? And so there was times where I just couldn't even, and I think I might have burnt myself out with my businesses too. And I just got to the point where I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to post. It's not that I didn't want to do the business. I absolutely loved it. I just didn't want to post anymore. I was so sick of posting. So I found other ways to stay connected. I was telling you earlier about starting with Project Broadcast, and that helps. That's like another way for me to connect with people, just messaging people, just on Messenger, just reaching out, right? And connecting with people. And I think that's what I see. Even if I haven't been consistent for a week or two, as soon as I put something out there, it comes back at me. And that's because I have worked so hard to build relationships with my customers. They are loyal to me. And that has probably been the number one thing I focus on in my Norwex business, is building relationships with people. And that is, I don't know, the golden ticket to me. I would say that's the most important thing, because Norwex reps are a dime a dozen. Anybody can go anywhere. Tupperware reps are a dime a dozen. All of these direct sales, right? Epicure.
Absolutely.
I got people reaching out to me from for Epicure parties probably weekly. But
Yeah.
I also have one good friend that I will stick with because I have a relationship with her, right? So how do you do that when it's not your friends? You still need to stay connected with them.
Well, and you make them your friends.
Absolutely. And I feel like I've made a ton of friends, customers and downline and upline. I have met so many people in a time when relationships and connecting was so difficult. And that was amazing during this time, right? That was incredible. And I've run into people who have only seen me virtually, and I'm meeting them for the first time, but you can see the way they're reacting with me. They really do have a connection, and they're so excited to meet me in person, but they feel like they already have because they see my face all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So it just shows me that work, my goal of building relationships, has happened, and it is definitely worth it. And it comes back at me all the time.
What, like busy life, what made you decide that you wanted to build something on top of your network marketing business? And how long was that kind of like growing inside of you?
Okay, one, I'm going to take out the word busy life. And this, I'm pretty sure, comes from you. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember exactly.
I do typically call it a full life.
Yes. The very beginning of the pandemic, I was going for a walk and I was listening to a podcast. And I really think
I have one called something like, stop.
Something about, and it was saying, take that word busy out of your life. Yeah. If you are talking about busy, if you are saying you're busy, it means that you're not putting that other thing as a priority. So if somebody comes, and it makes me think of a few people who have come to me throughout my life, and they're, I'm so sorry we haven't seen you. It's been really busy. Really?
Yeah, well, what we're really saying is I'm not a priority to you.
Exactly, yes. and
that's okay.
That's okay. Your family should be your priority. Your kids should be your priority. But you shouldn't feel guilt over that, right? So yeah. And the same thing goes through my business. For my businesses, I have to try really hard to not feel guilty that my main job as a teacher has to come first, right? And that and my family has to come first. So those things are my priority, yes, at times, but I also have to find ways to make these priorities as well. And it's because I want them and I believe in them. And I really I think that everybody should have these things in their life.
That's a really, really, really good point that you just said, is that those also have to be some kind of priority, right? Like, and I think sometimes we feel a little bit of shame around like saying that our business is one of our priorities, because, our core values are that our family should always be our priority, and our main job and our health and all those things. But like, our businesses, if we want them to truly be businesses, they have to come somewhere on that priority list.
I remember having a conversation with my husband about that years ago, because he's a teacher as well. And we were talking about, he sometimes would say little comments about me and education. He's like, you talk school all the time. You talk about kids and child development and all this. And like, but that's my passion. Child development is my undergrad studies. Like that has always my
shows that.
Yes, exactly. So it's not just, to me, my career that I set aside. It's also something I love to learn about, right? So it doesn't have to just be my 9-to-5 job, because it is also something that I love and am passionate about. So if I find joy in it, why does it have to stop at the door when I come home?
It's true. That's probably why you're incredible at what you do, because you care.
Thank you.
For the record, my husband talks a lot about that kind of stuff too. And every once in a while, I'm like, oh, can we change the subject every once in a while?
There's also the ranting. Like, we put a time limit when we come home on the ranting.
I got 10 minutes. Go. So then I guess it does make sense that you chose like a business that is inside the same industry. Was it because you saw a need for something?
Yes, yes and no. First, I will say that this started with just very much a seed. I remember when you posted about, I guess, back up a little bit. When I joined Norwex, shortly after, within the first year, I started looking at leadership positions in my school. And I also took a course, a mentoring additional qualification we have for teaching. And this one was on mentoring and coaching adults. And I started looking back at my year in Norwex and realizing that my favorite parts were leading a team. And not necessarily even just my downline, but my upline too. I loved planting seeds. I loved walking people through reflection on things. If they were upset that something wasn't working, kind of helping them to come to some reasons why, or what was blocking them, or what they could do differently. And so in this time, I realized how much I love coaching adults. Yes, I love kids still. Yes, I love teaching and all that, but I really love coaching adults. So I started applying to positions in our board where I would be coaching adults, and I have now actually a math facilitator. I'm not teaching right now. I get to teach as well, but I am a math facilitator. So I'm coaching adults in their math programs as well. So I realized how much I love that coaching element. And then you put the post up for the first coaching series for a business outside of our network marketing business. And I kind of thought, I'm interested. I want to see what this is about. And I remember saying, like, to you, I just have a seed. It's not a thing at all. I just have a seed. And that's it. And I didn't know what that would look like at all. I just knew that I saw a need for educators to learn to find balance in their life. That especially through the pandemic, this rose, like, just skyrocketed as a need. But even before that, I was watching my friends at work talk about how busy they were, talk about how overwhelmed they were, talking about, everything was can't. The kids can't do this. The board can't do this. Everybody can't, right? Everything was a very negative space.
If you're not in this industry, you don't truly realize how much this industry takes from you as a human.
It does,
of
right?
Yourself.
They talk about emotional fatigue, right? We have been learning about that a little bit as educators, and I think as the community as a whole, more recently, and it is like compassion fatigue, right? Emotional fatigue from coaching and supporting people all the time. And so I wanted to find a way to support educators with this. And so I joined the group, and I loved being part of the coaching group. That was huge and motivating. And I was able to explore all the different ideas that I had, which were a ton. And I got a Facebook group up. I got an Instagram group up. I learned about Instagram because I didn't know a thing. That was a whole other world in itself. I got an email list going. So I got the basics going, and I tried and dabbled with all different stuff. We did, I say we, because you really helped me through it. But we did some workshops. I learned how to do lead-ins to get people excited about things. And it's, I say successful, because it
100%.
was huge, right? I got 60, there's 60 people, I think, in my group, maybe even more.
Amazing.
I had people join and pay for my first workshop.
And I mean, that's called that a success.
That was a success for sure.
Yeah.
I remember saying, because somebody who wanted to join had done my, had helped me with my graphics for the group and the color scheme, right? And she wanted to join. I said, is it still the same if I say I'm trading work for her? Like, is that still a paid client?
Yes, it is.
It was huge.
And the interesting piece is, because I remember when we I remember you coming to me and saying, like, I've got a seed, like, I don't know what it is. And then kind of like, it's so interesting because every single person's seed could be anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's no, and this is what is different about network marketing. Network marketing, there is a pretty set path, right? This is what you take to find success. And yes, you can like do it your own and you can make it your own and it'll be unique to you. But with this, it truly is. It's like, okay, this is the content we want to deliver. How do you best deliver that? How do you actually want to? And like coming up with workshops for you. And like, I just remember it just feeling like that clicking, like it was like fire.
Yeah. And it was a lot of fun creating it.
Yeah.
But I will also say what I learned through that process and stepping away, because May and June educators were done. So I was finding a lot less engagement in the group. I was super burnt out. I stepped away a little bit in May and June, and I also, that is something I would say to everybody, take some time to step away because you get to reflect, right? And I got to see what I loved about what I did. The piece I loved was the coaching. It keeps going back to that. I loved the coaching elements. So now that I've gone back through that process of creating a workshop, and while I loved that, that was a lot of time. And time, was it the best? I always have to look at, was that the best use of my time? I have all these things on my plate. So was that the best use of my time? And is it exactly what I want to do? So now going forward, I'm able to fine tune and tweak that. Is it going to be a workshop model? Not necessarily. I'm going to change it to it evolving more to coaching. And that's also a challenge with educators finding balance versus Norwex. Like you said, everything's there. The structure's there. Anything I could want, I can get the training from Norwex. I can get all of the graphics from the team and the support from everybody. This is on my own, and this I get to make myself, which is really good. But I also learned that people don't necessarily know how to use what I'm putting out there. Like, this is new.
And you won't know what you don't know until you get in the game.
Exactly. Like, I needed to do it to see that. I had an inkling that I even had some people say, like, teachers won't use a coach. And then now I realized, not that they won't use a coach. Why wouldn't they use a coach? I'm using a coach. I love having this coaching element. So why wouldn't they? It's just not the norm and the culture. But that's the whole point of educators finding balance, is to change this culture.
Yes. The whole point is that it might take longer to build because you've got to reframe the way people think and interact and everything. But there's so much goodness inside that you will break through those boundaries, right?
Yeah.
And break through those things. And then everything that was once not normal and becomes normal had to start somewhere.
Is that any different than my network marketing?
No, not at all.
It's the exact same. It's just that
it's amazing how many skills are transferable as well. Yes. So many skills are transferable.
But the company is doing it for us, right?
Yes.
They're helping us, give us all the education pieces that we need. This I have to figure out as I go, and having a coaching group, having even my own personal therapist, my social worker I work with, she loves it. And she's always been saying to me, you need to get these messages out to people. You need to do this. So I have many people, my husband, I have friends, I have people that I can bounce ideas off of, and they help me to create them and evolve them. But I have to know that I'm the one who has to put it out there, or it's not happening. Whereas Norwex is still going to go on around me.
That's right.
People might still come to me.
And how do you do that? How do you stay true to that mission that you started with and that has evolved to this point? Like, How do you make it
I
happen?
have Post-its that I can see on my wall right now.
I love it.
It's true.
Such a teacher.
Yes. I have all my mantras, all my quotes that everybody, there's one actually here that you had taught me a while ago. I would say it must have been one of our coaching calls as a group. And I wrote it down and it's really stuck with me, and I revisit it probably every week or two. It's just looking at where I'm stuck, right? And I've done all your manifesting work, and I really believe in manifesting, bringing things to you, right? If you believe it, if you want it, you can have it.
Yeah.
But then there's the piece of why isn't it happening and where am I stuck, right? And there's the three thoughts. Why am I stuck? If something's not happening, then I need to think about, I'm going to read them off a wall right now. You don't actually want it, right? Maybe you don't actually want it. Maybe that's
and it's true. Sometimes we say we want something, but like truthfully, we don't.
Yeah. It might be that it's like a status to have that thing, that you have this.
We think we should want something. Like in the teaching industry, my husband was kind of going back and forth with, should I take my principal courses? And I said, do you actually want that life? Do you? Because it comes with I mean, you'd be amazing. I think he would be the most incredible VP ever, but do you want that life? And like what it came down to was like, no, like, he doesn't, we don't, right? Like, and so really it was just more like, it felt like the mountain to climb.
Yes. The next thing, right? I think that is very typical in education to want, and I think in network marketing even too.
In society as a whole, we're taught to always look at what's next and to continually be going for what's next. And you have to really ask yourself if that's what you want.
And then the second one is, you don't think you can have it. Do you believe you actually deserve it?
Yeah.
And then you're afraid of what will happen if you get it.
Yeah. You have these fears that if you get it, this is what will happen. Like it could be, you'll work so hard that it'll be time away from your family, or your marriage will suffer. And I think this is a network marketing one too. Like we often think about this in terms of like rising into leadership, the costs of leadership.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's not actually true, right? Because you get to choose. You still get to choose and be true to yourself at every single step of the way.
Absolutely. And I think I've noticed that every time I've got to the point where I was like, that was too much. I did maybe in Norwex some big sale, or I took on too many parties in a month that I thought I wanted, but it ended up being a rat race and really stressful for me and stressful for the family, and just too much. That's what, like, it's been good for me because I've been able to sit back after and go, okay, it's not that I don't want those things to happen. I do want those things to happen, but now what systems can I put in place to make that easier next time?
That's right. And you would never know until you try something. But that's the beauty of these businesses, is nothing's forever. Like even that month that was really, really hard for you in your business, and you know you overworked yourself and you know that you did too much, the next month you get to choose again.
Yes. Yeah. It's still there. And
that's right.
That's what I've seen through this whole process, that when I started Educators Finding Balance, I made a conscious decision that I was not going to have parties for the first month or two. I was still going to run my Norwex business. I still posted consistently in my group. I still shared all of the sales. It was right at the same time with a new launch for a new catalog. Everything was still there. And what I saw was my sales, I was still reaching like $1,500 every month in sales, just without any parties, right? Like it was still there. And it almost made me feel like I have this support system of people. Like I still had this, I don't know, like a safety.
Just because you lean back doesn't mean that everything that you've built falls apart.
No, I'm sure that is a fear that we all have, that if we stop, it'll go away. But if you've truly built those relationships with your customers, they're not going anywhere. They're still going to be there.
I remember being afraid of that too. Like, how could I possibly take on more? And I don't think it's about taking on more necessarily. It's about making shifts to welcome in more in a lot of ways.
Yes. Yes. Because I want that thing in my life still.
That's right. And for you, I think that even if you, like the mission that you have with Educators Finding Balance, like it's in the name, right?
Mm-hmm.
The need for that in that industry is so strong that like, please keep going, right? Like
Yes.
if you can help one person or 10 people or 20 people or 100 people, like, isn't that a business well built?
And you're right. I have been noticing, and in both Educators Finding Balance and NWM'ing, I've been noticing that when I get those feelings of, okay, this has been too much, I need to hold off, or I'm just too burnt out, I'm just not going to post anything for a bit, and I allow myself that. The very next time I do post, there's some sort of a reward from it. And it's just something calling to me. There was a few weeks ago, I hadn't put anything in Educators Finding Balance at all. And I saw something, I can't remember exactly what the post was. I think it was something about like the things you're most afraid of are the things you should go do, something along those lines, right? If you're afraid of it, maybe it's something you should be pushing forward and doing. And it was something I saw and I thought, hey, this has got to reach out to somebody. I posted it in the group, and that night, somebody I worked with previously and was in the group, I hadn't talked to her in probably a year. She messaged me and said, I saw your post and I'm going to apply to this position at our board that has come up. And I said, I saw that position. That's amazing. And she's a younger teacher. I never would have thought she would apply to this. She ended up getting the job. Like, and her and I were in,
and who knows that post was like her sign from the universe, and then her reaching out to you was your sign from the universe.
She's exactly. She said to me, she's like, I saw that and it resonated with me, and it's exactly what I needed to push me into this. And it was her saying that to me was exactly what I needed to say. Yes, I have to keep going with this. I have something to offer. And it has been like, it's not a boom like network marketing is with the Educators Finding Balance. I haven't had that initial party where everything just went crazy and I made a whole lot of money over a few months. I haven't had that, but I have consistently had little messages saying, keep going, actual messages from people. Please keep going. We need this. I know I don't comment on your posts. I know I haven't reached out, but I follow, and it's so important, and keep going, right?
And at some point we have to have that trust, right? Like that if we want to get to that, whatever, like the boom or whatever, the thing that we're looking for, the thing that we know that something could be, the only way to get there is to keep going.
Yes. And I keep telling myself, even when we started this, I told you this is what I wanted for when I retire. I still have 10 years left in my career. So if I'm just cultivating,
this is the long game.
It is. It's a long game. I want this for a business for 10 years down the road when I do really have the time to put the effort in. Would I love for it to come now? But there's only so much I could handle right now. I couldn't handle that boom.
And likely I truly believe the universe knows that, right? Like the universe knows, like, this is my capacity level, and it's not going to give you more than that because you're not open to receiving more than that right now. It's the perfect place for you. If you had one piece of advice, or maybe two pieces of advice, whatever you got, for someone that is like sitting on the ledge and like with this seed, like you called it, and they've got a network marketing business, it doesn't matter the level of success inside that network marketing business, like what would you tell them if someone asked you, what should I do?
I would say, well, from my personal experience, jump in even when it's just a seed, but do it with support. Like having the group, having the coaching behind me was huge. I couldn't have done that without the entire group of girls. And that wasn't just you, that was the whole team, right? We were all grappling with the same questions at the same time. Looking at, do I need a website? Do I need an email system? What do I need to make this happen? How do I do a launch for a first workshop? We were all,
and sometimes people ask questions that you didn't even think of yet.
Yes. But it just, it helped me stay motivated, and it stopped the overwhelm. I remember us all feeling really overwhelmed at the beginning. We were all like, there's too many things. We're so overwhelmed. And then you helped us through a process to narrow things down, right? And there is no way I could have just done it on my own. I would have given up. And even with network marketing, I feel the same way. When you join a network marketing company, you need to be connecting with your upline.
Get the training, get the support, all of it. Especially for people, like if you have all the time in the world, then by all means, go and figure it out all on your own. But if you live a full life and you've got many priorities on your plate and you want to find success, just get someone to show you the way.
Yeah. Yep.
It's easier on yourself.
Definitely.
And they also tell you what you don't need to do.
Yes, absolutely. Like there was a lot of, we're all, do we need this? Do we need that? And spending money on things, right?
Yeah,
I do believe every bit of money I put out into my NORX business comes back always.
100%.
And it will with Educators Finding Balance too. I believe that. So I'm not spending outside of what I make, but I can use some of my money from NORX that I'm making to put towards coaching or to put towards a website.
I did that in the beginning too. Like I allowed my network marketing business to support the coaching business that I desired to grow.
Yeah, I think that's valuable to remember, right? It's not money that you're just putting out of pocket.
No, it's going to come back.
Yes, it will absolutely come back, and it's worth spending that money. I think the other big two things I would say is manifesting is huge. I've loved going through all of your manifesting workshops.
But I think the big one with that one is knowing where you want to go. So really getting clear on what you're building.
Which brings me to the next piece. Exactly. Taking breaks to stop and reflect, right? It's so easy to get caught up in the busy, and you need to stop and take a step back and take some time to just take a week off. It's okay. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Take a week off and sit back, and really every time I have done that, I've been able to get myself out of those overwhelming feelings and realize exactly what I want to do, what my goal is, and find ways to do it in a better way. And it's okay to let go of. If I started something and then I decide I don't like it, then it's okay to move on to something else. It might have been something that was valuable for just that season.
That's right. Or it could be the thing that leads to the thing.
Yes, absolutely. Well, all of those network marketing businesses that I was part of, they had value.
100%.
I've learned so much from them. I've learned about the whole network marketing
The waitressing job that I had when I was 19 has played some role in what I'm doing today. And trust me, it was maybe just to teach me that I should never be a waitress because I was terrible, but still.
We all had those experiences.
Right? Oh, thank you. This was awesome. If people want to find Educators Finding Balance, how do they do that?
They can find me on Instagram at educators.finding.balance, or on Facebook, Educators Finding Balance. You can reach out to me too, Andrea Federico. You can find me on Messenger. I have my maiden name in there still, Andrea Federico-Henwood, Federico.
I'll link that in the notes.
but yeah, I would love, especially if you are interested, if you're an educator, if you're an ECE, if you work in the field of education, we have vice principals in there. We have some office administrators. We have ECEs in there. I would love for you to reach out and join me in there. Fantastic.
Definitely. And you guys, it is such an incredible community that Andrea is building. So if you are in education, you need to find it. And if you can't find Andrea, find me and I will give you all the things.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me to do this.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you for being a part of it.